The Philosopher King, an excerpt from Book 6 of the Republic. Written by Plato. Narrated by Michael Anthony Scott. Produced by Thought Audio.
And thus, Glycon, after the argument has gone a weary way, the true and false philosophers have at length appeared in view.
I do not think that the way could have been shortened.
I suppose not, I said. And yet I believe that we might have had a better view of both of them if the discussion could have been confined to this one subject, and if there were not many other questions awaiting us, which he so desires to see, in what respect the life of the just differs from that of the unjust must consider.
What is the next question?
Surely, I said, the one which follows next in order. Inasmuch as philosophers only are able to grasp the eternal and unchangeable, and those who wander in the region of the many and variables are not philosophers, I must ask you which of the two classes should be the rulers of our state.
And how can we rightly answer that question?
Whichever of the two are best able to guard the laws and institutions of our state, let them be our guardians.
Very good.
Neither can there be any question that the guardian who is to keep anything should have eyes rather than no eyes.
There can be no question of that.
And are not those who are verily and indeed wanting in their knowledge of the true being of each thing, and who have in their souls no clear pattern, and are unable, as with a painter's eye, to look at the absolute truth, and to that original to repair, and having perfect vision of the other world, to order the laws about beauty, goodness, justice in this, if not already ordered, and to guard and preserve the order of them, are not such persons, I ask, simply blind?
Truly, they are much in that condition.
And shall they be our guardians when there are others who, besides being their equals in experience, and falling short of them in no particular of virtue, also know the very truth of each thing? There can be no reason for rejecting those who have this greatest of all great qualities. They must always have the first place, unless they fail in some other respect. Suppose, then, that we determine how far they can unite this and the other excellences.
By all means.
In the first place, as we began by observing, the nature of the philosopher has to be ascertained. We must come to an understanding about him, and when we have done so, then, if I am not mistaken, we shall also acknowledge that such a union of qualities is possible, and that those in whom they are united, and those only, should be the rulers in the state.
What do you mean?
Let us suppose that philosophical minds always love knowledge of a sort, which shows them the eternal nature not varying from generation and corruption.
Agreed.
And further, let us agree that they are lovers of all true being. There is no part, whether great or less, or more or less honorable, which they are willing to renounce, as we said before of the lover and the man of ambition.
True.
And if they are to be what we were describing, is there not another quality which they should also possess?
What quality?
Truthfulness. They will never intentionally receive into their mind falsehood, which is their detestation, and they will love the truth. Yes, that may be safely affirmed of them. Maybe, my friend, is not the word, rather must be affirmed. For he whose nature is amorous of anything cannot help loving all that belongs or is akin to the object of his affections.
Right.
And is there anything more akin to wisdom than truth?
How can there be?
Can the same nature be a lover of wisdom and a lover of falsehood?
Never.
The true lover of learning, then, must from his earliest youth, as far as in him lies, desire all truth.
Assuredly.
But then again, as we know by experience, he whose desires are strong in one direction will have them weaker in others. They will be like a stream which has been drawn off into another channel.
True.
He whose desires are drawn towards knowledge in every form will be absorbed in the pleasures of the soul, and will hardly feel bodily pleasure. I mean, if he be a true philosopher and not a sham one.
That is most certain.
Such a one is sure to be temperate and the reverse of covetous, for the motives which make another man desirous of having and spending have no place in his character.
Very true.
Another criterion of the philosophical nature has also to be considered.
What is that?
There should be no secret corner of illiberality. Nothing can be more antagonistic than meanness to a soul which is ever longing after the whole of things, both divine and human.
Most true.
Then how can he, who has magnificence of mind, and is a spectator of all time and all existence, think much of human life?
He cannot.
Or can such a one account death fearful?
No, indeed.
Then the cowardly and mean nature has no part in true philosophy.
Certainly not.
Or again, can he who is harmoniously constituted, who is not covetous or mean, or a boaster or a coward, can he ever be unjust or hard in his dealings?
Impossible.
Then will you soon observe whether a man is just and gentle, or rude and unsociable. These are the signs which distinguish even in youth the philosophical nature from the unphilosophical.
True.
There is another point which should be remarked.
What point?
Whether he has or has not a pleasure in learning. For no one will love that which gives him pain, and in which after much toil he makes little progress.
Certainly not.
And again, if he is forgetful and retains nothing of what he learns, will he not be an empty vessel?
That is certain.
Laboring in vain, he must end in hating himself and his fruitless occupation.
Yes.
Then a soul which forgets cannot be ranked among genuine philosophic natures. We must insist that the philosopher should have a good memory.
Certainly.
And once more, the inharmonious and unseemly nature can only tend to disproportion.
Undoubtedly.
And do you consider truth to be akin to proportion or to disproportion?
To proportion.
Then besides other qualities, we must try to find a naturally well-proportioned and gracious mind, which will move spontaneously towards the true being of everything.
Certainly.
Well, and do not all these qualities, which we have been enumerating, go together? And are they not, in a manner, necessary to a soul which is to have a full and perfect participation of being?
They are absolutely necessary.
And must not that be a blameless study, which he only can pursue who has the gift of a good memory and is quick to learn, noble, gracious, the friend of truth, justice, courage, temperance, and who are kindred?
The god of jealousy himself could find no fault with such a study.
And to men like him, when perfected by years and education, and to these only you will entrust the state.